The most poisonous words are never shouted in rage. They are delivered with a quiet, surgical precision, designed to inflict maximum damage while leaving no outward mark. My daughter-in-law-to-be, Chloe, gifted me such words just 24 hours before she was set to become family, and I, a woman who had spent a lifetime building a home, decided the greatest gift I could give her was to take her at her word. The rehearsal dinner was a symphony of controlled chaos. Laughter bounced off the tastefully distressed walls of the rustic chic barn venue, mingling with the clinking of wine glasses and the frantic whispers of the wedding planner. I stood slightly apart, a silent satellite orbiting the joyful planet of my son, Liam. At 58, I felt every one of my years, especially in the face of such vibrant, demanding youth. I had given everything for this wedding. After Liam's father, Michael, lost his long battle with cancer 3 years ago, my world had shrunk to two things: my son's happiness and the house we had built together. Selling that house, the last physical tether to Michael, had been an agony. But Liam's eyes, so full of love for Chloe, had convinced me. The proceeds were now wrapped up in this extravagant affair. The designer dress, the 5-tiered cake, the honeymoon to Bora Bora. It was my final grand gesture. Chloe found me by the old oak bar, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. She was beautiful, there was no denying it, with the sharp, polished elegance of a diamond. But diamonds are cold and hard. "Eleanor, a word?" she said, her voice a silken cord. "Of course, dear. Everything looks perfect." "It does," she agreed, her gaze sweeping over the room before settling back on me. "That's why we need to be clear. Tomorrow, it's about Liam and me, our future. A clean slate." I felt a prickle of unease. "I'm not sure I follow." She leaned in, her whisper a venomous secret just for me. "Your constant presence, the stories about Michael, this weight of the past you carry. Liam feels obligated to you, and it's holding him back." She paused, letting the words sink their hooks. "The greatest gift you could possibly give us tomorrow wouldn't be a toast or a check. It would be if you just disappeared from our family. Let us start fresh, without you." The world did not tilt. The music did not stop, but something inside me shattered, with a soundlessness more profound than any explosion. I saw my life, the love for my late husband, the sacrifices for my son, the very essence of my being, reduced to an inconvenient burden. I looked at Chloe's placid, determined face and knew she meant every word, so I simply nodded. "I understand," I said, my voice remarkably steady. "The greatest gift." I did not sleep that night. While Liam dreamed of his wedding day, I became a ghost, moving through the house that was no longer mine. I packed a single suitcase with clothes, Michael's photograph, and my important documents. Everything else was just noise. My first call at 6 a.m. was to my real estate agent, a sharp woman named Brenda who didn't flinch at bizarre requests. "Brenda? Eleanor Vance? The buyer who offered cash, the one we turned down for a higher bid? Call him. The house is his. I want to close today, yes, today. I'll take his offer. No contingencies. Draw up the papers, I'll be there at 9. The second call was harder. I hired a ruthless, efficient team of movers with a simple instruction. Empty the house. Everything goes into storage. Every single thing. Start in 1 hour. The third call was the nuclear option. I accessed the joint account I'd set up for the wedding expenses. With a few clicks, I recalled every pending transaction. The venue, the caterer, the florist, their payments vanished from the ether, replaced by a single, devastating email from an anonymous account I'd created. "The wedding of Liam Vance and Chloe Sterling is canceled indefinitely due to unforeseen circumstances. All payments are void." I pictured the phone calls, the chaos, the humiliation. It was cruel, but so is telling a mother she is disposable. By 10 a.m., I was signing away my home. By noon, I was watching strangers box up my life. And by 2 p.m., I was driving away from my old life, my phone switched off and tossed into a river, a new burner phone in my glove compartment. I was a phantom, a blank space where a woman used to be. The shock wave hit Liam and Chloe at the venue 2 hours before the ceremony. The florist arrived to repossess the centerpieces. The caterer demanded cash on delivery. The band leader, his paycheck vaporized, packed up his drums. Liam's world collapsed in public spectacularly. He tried to call me over and over, his messages shifting from confused panic to desperate anger. "Mom, what's happening? The caterer says the payment bounced. Where are you?" Then, "Mom, answer me. This isn't funny. Chloe is hysterical." And finally, a broken whisper, "Mom, please." What did we do? They drove to the house, seeking answers, only to find a sold sign staked into the perfect lawn and absolute emptiness through the windows. Their dream wedding was ash. Their financial future tied to my house was gone. And I was gone. For 6 months, I lived in a small coastal town, a woman with no history. I followed the fragments of their lives through a private investigator I paid to keep me informed. The canceled wedding became a local scandal. The financial strain broke them. Liam, drowning in shame and debt, lost his job. Chloe, who had wanted a clean slate so badly, got one. An empty, bankrupt void. They blamed each other. The toxicity of their relationship, once hidden beneath wedding plans, now bubbling to the surface. They separated within 3 months. The PI's final email was brief. "They're meeting at the old house tomorrow. The new owners are doing renovations. Gave them permission to look around. Thought you should know." The new owners, a young couple, had agreed to my one strange condition of the sale, that for 1 year the master bedroom closet remain locked and that the key be given only to Liam Vance should he ever ask for it. Liam arrived first, thinner, older. Chloe followed, her polished beauty replaced by a hardened weariness. They didn't speak, simply walked through the hollow, echoing rooms. The house was a skeleton, the new drywall and exposed studs a stark contrast to the home it had been. They ended up in the master bedroom, drawn by habit or some lingering ghost of memory. "The new owner said there was something for us," Liam said, his voice flat, "in the closet." He used the key. The door swung open to reveal not a forgotten possession, but a single, stark white envelope taped to the back wall. My name was written on it in my own hand. Liam's hands trembled as he tore it open. Inside was not a letter of forgiveness or a map to a hidden treasure. It was an itemized list. The document was titled, "A Final Accounting." It began not with an explanation, but with a reckoning. Item 1. The cost of this house, purchased with your father, Michael Vance, in 1998, $250,000, 0 cents. The memories built within its walls, priceless. Until deemed worthless by Chloe Sterling on June 17th. Item 2, the total cost of your undergraduate and postgraduate degrees, including tuition, books, and living expenses, $182,450, 0 cents. The pride I felt at your graduation, priceless. Item 3, the hospital bills from your father's illness, not covered by insurance, $87,300, 0 cents. The privilege of holding his hand until the end, priceless. The list went on, a cold, brutal inventory of a mother's life investment. Every soccer uniform, every family vacation, every down payment on a car, every sacrifice, meticulously documented with its financial cost next to the emotional value I had assigned to it. And then, at the bottom, the final entry, Item 27, the proceeds from the sale of our family home earmarked for your wedding and future, $675,000, 0 cents. The words spoken by Chloe Sterling at the rehearsal dinner, "The greatest gift would be if you disappeared from our family." Final calculation, I have spent a lifetime investing my love, my money, and my soul into our family. You declared that investment to be a liability. You requested its complete removal from your balance sheet. Therefore, I have liquidated the asset. I have vanished the liability. And I have given you the clean slate you asked for. The money from the house has been donated, in Michael's name, to the oncology wing of the city hospital, a place that values life and fights against loss, rather than casually inviting it in. You are free of me. You are free of the past. You are free of the weight. This is my greatest gift to you. I hope your fresh start was worth the cost. Eleanor. Liam sank to his knees, the paper fluttering from his grasp. The shock wasn't that I was gone. The shock was the clarity. The shock was the ledger. I hadn't left them with a mystery to solve. I had left them with a mirror, and in its cold, unforgiving glass, they didn't see a monster. They saw the precise, logical consequence of their own cruelty. Chloe picked up the paper, her face a mask of horror. She had wanted me gone, but she had never considered the foundation I was holding up. With me removed, the entire structure had collapsed. The empty house was no longer just empty. It was a monument to their transgression. The shocking thing I left behind wasn't an object. It was the truth, laid bare in the sterile, empty space where a family used to be. And as the echo of Liam's sobs bounced off the bare walls, they both understood that some gifts, once given, can never be returned.